Around the world, more and more freight is being moved by water. Europe is no exception. 90% of its external trade and 40% of its internal trade relies on shipping. On the waterways, ships and barges' gigantic engines gobble up energy and pollute the air. But many operations in ports also consume energy. Too much energy. This is the starting point for the Green Efforts project. Its goal: to reduce energy demand in ports and terminals, and to increase use of renewable energy sources. This will help lower energy costs and minimize environmental impact locally. Green Efforts is a collaborative research project co-funded by the European Commission under the 7th Framework Programme. The project was coordinated by Jacobs University in Bremen, Germany. 8 players from industry and academia formed a partnership to reach their goal. But more and more terminals and ports have been supporting them, from Europe and from abroad. More energy efficiency is being achieved in 4 ways. By optimizing processes in terminal and port operations, by modifying existing equipment or investing in new machinery, by using innovative technology, especially renewable energy sources, and by motivating, educating, and training staff. Employees can thus upgrade their qualifications and become more aware of energy issues. This typical port is home to 3 different types of terminal: a barge terminal, a container terminal, and a ro-ro terminal. We will be using this port to show you some of the outcomes from our project. In every container terminal, a terminal operating system controls the workflow. This is an area which can be optimized. To save time and conserve energy, empty runs and cargo restacking can be prevented. How? Through intelligent planning of time and space, and by integrating all processes related to ship, terminal, and hinterland connections. Man himself is also an important factor. Letting engines run or driving around at full speed when it isn't really necessary. These are examples of where port employees themselves can help reduce energy consumption. We recommend training staff and communicating clearly and openly. But motivation is also vital, for example through a bonus system. It can reward employees who use less energy while maintaining productivity. A port is made up of many independent units. These units all need to cooperate in order to reduce energy consumption. By communicating more among themselves, terminal and port operators can plan their energy supply and energy use together. The smart grid can help with this. It connects the consumers, producers, and energy storage systems used on site. At the heart of the smart grid is an energy management system. Among other things, it monitors and records consumption. So when there's an unwanted power loss, it's noticed and addressed very quickly. Future power consumption can be planned with the help of the data that's been gathered. Wind power or photovoltaic systems combined with meteorological data allow greater planning certainty. This also applies to the use of renewable energy sources. In day-to-day operations, they can help offset cost-intensive peak loads, together with the smart use of energy storage systems. There are more options for becoming greener, not just with overarching measures, but also within individual processes. These large ship-to-shore cranes use huge amounts of energy, but their standby mode also consumes a lot of power. Why? Because at the moment, the cranes can immediately spring into action. In day-to-day operations, that isn't always necessary. Power consumption could be reduced significantly. For example, by slightly increasing the lead time, and through intelligent standby management. While ships are moored at the terminal, on-board power is generated by diesel engines. Their emissions can be prevented by connecting the ships to a shore-based power line. This also reduces the workload of the crew. When a crane lifts cargo, it uses energy. At the moment when cargo is lowered again, some of this energy can be recovered and used, either to lift the next load or to feed it into the grid. Many engines have more power than they actually need. This is especially true in the rubber-tired gantries. In this case, energy consumption can be lowered by adapting power units to the actual need. It also makes sense to use hybrid drives. These are a combination of diesel and electric drives. Automated guided vehicles and other electrically driven industrial trucks need powerful batteries to run. These serve as a buffer between energy demand at the terminal and the availability of renewable energy, because often these two factors don't coincide. Using electric drives also helps reduce emissions. Electrification is not the only option for reducing emissions. Another alternative is liquefied natural gas, LNG. LNG is a fossil energy source, not a renewable one. But compared to diesel fuel, it has one advantage: much lower emissions. That also includes particulate matter, which pose an extreme health hazard. So for terminals, it's a very attractive alternative to diesel fuel. Refrigerated containers, reefers, don't just heavily contribute to energy consumption at the terminal. Their energy demand also skyrockets when ambient temperatures rise and solar radiation becomes intense. Photovoltaics can significantly contribute to clean energy supply. Simple covered parking lots can already help in this case. Photovoltaic systems can also be installed directly on the roofs. They can generate additional power at the same time. Another option is to use renewable energy sources when they're available, and then to cool down the reefers with deep frozen cargo more than is actually necessary. When it gets dark, large terminals need to be brightly lit in order to operate. In day-to-day operations, the switch to power-efficient LED lighting has already led to significant reductions. Power consumption has been lowered by over 50%. Motion detectors can also help by ensuring that only lots being used are lit, and not always the entire terminal. Green efforts, they can be implemented, whether through avoiding empty runs, needs-based motorization, intelligent energy management, motivating personnel, or using clean alternative energy sources. For terminals and ports, the potential is huge. For lowering emissions, reducing power consumption, and thus for saving costs at the same time. Not every measure is suitable for every site, but every site has many options to enhance its operations in the future, to protect the environment and become more cost-efficient. Something that can be implemented everywhere is green port design. Open spaces in the port can be landscaped. Green walls can be erected between the port and adjacent neighborhoods. They serve not only as anti-noise barriers, green walls also make ports look more attractive and can help increase the acceptance of local residents. Even within terminals, there are often smaller areas that can be landscaped, making the port more pleasant to work in. Because all these measures to save costs and protect the environment support the ultimate goal of green efforts: to make ports a better place to work and to live.